When you want to understand a personality deeply, don't start with labels. Don't rush to say, this person is INTJ, or this child is type 5, or this teenager is an achiever, rebel, helper, thinker, or leader. Start with the engine. And in this reading for Justin, the engine is very clear. This is not a simple personality. This is not someone who can be understood only through behavior, school performance, communication style, hobbies, emotional reactions, or social habits. Justin's personality has to be read through the personal planets, Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, because these four show the living psychological machine, the emotional body, the thinking mind, the creative value system, and the action logic. And when you bring Nakshatra into this, the diagnosis becomes much sharper. Nakshatra is the bridge. MBTI gives you the cognitive style, Enneagram gives you the motivational wound and defense pattern, but Nakshatra shows the deeper instinct behind both. It tells you why a person thinks the way they think, why they react the way they react, why they are drawn to certain interests, why they trust slowly or quickly, why they lead, withdraw, investigate, perform, protect, rebel, or serve. So for Justin, the final diagnosis is this. The dominant MBTI pattern is INTJ, with strong ENTJ and INFJ overlays. The dominant Enneagram pattern is 5W6, the strategic investigator with a loyalist wing, supported by strong Type 8 and Type 3 undertones. This is the personality of a strategic investigator-protector, someone who observes deeply, feels more than he shows, trusts slowly, thinks in systems, detects hidden motives, acts decisively when needed, and becomes powerful when knowledge, loyalty, purpose, and execution come together. Now let's break this down. Justin has Cancer Ascendant, with the Ascendant in Pushya. That immediately gives a protective, responsible, stabilizing personality frame. Pushya is not weak softness. It is structured nurturing. It is the instinct to build stability, guide others, provide support, and become useful in a real-world way. So on the outside, Justin can come across as composed, caring, objective, even emotionally mature beyond his age. But that is only the doorway. The real depth comes from the house lordship. For Cancer Ascendant, the moon is the first lord. That means the moon is not merely emotion. It is identity. It is the self. It is how Justin experiences life through the body, mind, mood, instinct, and personal direction. And this moon is placed in the 4th house in Libra in Vishakha Nakshatra. This is critical. The first lord in the 4th house internalizes the personality. It makes the person deeply private, emotionally rooted, home-centered, psychologically absorbent, and strongly shaped by inner security. This is someone whose outer confidence depends heavily on inner peace. If the emotional base is stable, the whole personality becomes strong. If the emotional base is disturbed, the person may withdraw, overthink, or become quietly intense. But the moon is in Vishakha. Vishakha is not passive. Vishakha brings ambition, direction, determination, leadership, achievement hunger, and the desire to make a difference. So emotionally, Justin is not simply looking for comfort. He is looking for meaningful progress. He wants emotional peace, yes, but he also wants victory. He wants to feel that life is moving somewhere. He wants growth. He wants a goal. He wants a path. This is why his emotional body carries both Libra and Vishakha. Libra wants balance, fairness, relationship harmony, and peace. Vishakha wants achievement, influence, purpose, and recognition. So internally, Justin may oscillate between wanting peace and wanting conquest, between wanting harmony and wanting success, between wanting connection and wanting independence. This moon strongly supports an INTJ-ENTJ pattern. The emotional body is not random. It is goal-sensitive. It is quietly competitive. It measures life through progress. It can read social dynamics, but it does not want to be trapped in shallow social approval. Now look at Mercury. Mercury rules the 3rd and 12th houses for Cancer Ascendant, and it is placed in the 7th house in Capricorn, in Shravana Nakshatra. This is the thinking mind, speech, communication, learning style, intellectual reflex, and how Justin processes information. The 3rd lord in the 7th house makes communication relational. Justin's mind activates through dialogue, debate, one-to-one interaction, questioning, negotiation, and observing how other people think. He may learn very well when there is a real person, real conversation, real challenge, real exchange. He can become a sharp listener, a strategic communicator, and someone who understands people by watching what they say and what they avoid saying. But Mercury is also the 12th lord. That adds privacy, solitude, foreignness, hidden thought, retreat, imagination, and inner processing. So he may not say everything he thinks. In fact, he may often be thinking much more than he reveals. This is one of the strongest signatures for a private mind. Mercury in Capricorn makes the intellect practical, structured, cautious, realistic, and consequence aware. This is not a scattered Mercury that jumps from idea to idea without purpose. This mind wants usefulness. It asks, what is the point? What is the structure? What is the outcome? What is the long-term consequence? And then Shravana adds the real diagnostic key. Shravana is the nakshatra of listening, learning, absorbing, teaching, guiding, and understanding through careful hearing. This gives a strong Enneagram 5 signature. Justin wants knowledge, but not just information. He wants knowledge that gives orientation, competence, and safety. He listens to decode. He listens to understand the system. He listens to find the pattern behind the words. This is why the Enneagram 5W6 becomes so strong. Type 5 says, I must understand before I engage. Type 6 says, I must know who and what can be trusted. Mercury in Shravana as 3rd and 12th Lord in the 7th house says exactly this. Communication is important, but trust is filtered. Conversation is useful, but the mind stays guarded. Partnership matters, but inner privacy remains protected. This also supports INTJ with INTP and INFJ overlays. The INTJ comes from strategic pattern recognition. The INTP comes from conceptual analysis. The INFJ comes from the ability to listen beneath words and understand people's emotional and psychological architecture. Now look at Mars. Mars is the most powerful personality planet in this chart because Mars rules the 5th and 10th houses for Cancer Ascendant. That means Mars carries intelligence, talent, creativity, discernment, career, action, status, public karma, and execution. Mars becomes the action intelligence engine. And Mars is placed in the 5th house in Scorpio in Anuradha Nakshatra. This is extremely important. The 5th Lord in the 5th house strengthens intelligence, talent, pattern recognition, creativity, strategy, and independent judgment. The 10th Lord in the 5th house connects career and public action to intelligence, skill, planning, and specialized knowledge. This is not a person meant only for routine. This is someone who needs a field where the mind can penetrate, solve, investigate, design, diagnose, research, lead, or strategize. Mars in Scorpio is not loud Mars. It is hidden Mars. It is deep Mars. It is the warrior mystic, the crisis analyst, the person who sees what others miss. Scorpio Mars does not waste energy on superficial battles when mature. It waits, studies, understands the weakness in the system, and then acts with precision. Anuradha adds loyalty, research, emotional endurance, friendship themes, devotion, negotiation, secrecy, and the ability to work through complex emotional or psychological terrain. So this Mars gives Justin one of his strongest signatures. He is not merely intelligent, he is investigative. He is not merely active, he is strategic. He is not merely loyal, he tests loyalty. He is not merely emotional, he can turn emotion into focus. This is the clearest reason why INTJ outranks ENTJ. ENTJ is there, yes, but ENTJ is more openly directive, more visibly commanding, more externalized. Justin's Mars is powerful, but it is in Scorpio and Anuradha. This means the force is inwardly concentrated. He may not always show his intensity, but it is there. He may not speak first, but he is assessing. He may not react immediately, but he remembers. He may not chase attention, but he wants mastery. This also makes the Enneagram Type 5 stronger than Type 8. Type 8 is present, but it operates behind a Type 5 structure. First, he observes. First, he understands. First, he gathers power through knowledge. Then, if pushed, he becomes forceful. This is why the most accurate Enneagram reading is not just Type 8, not just Type 3, and not just Type 6. It is 5W6 with an 8 edge. Now, Venus. Venus rules the 4th and 11th houses for Cancer Ascendant, and Venus is placed in the 8th house in Aquarius in Dhanishtha Nakshatra. This is a fascinating placement because Venus shows creativity, value, aesthetics, love, desire, self-worth, pleasure, social harmony, and the way a person transforms life through attraction and refinement. But as 4th Lord, Venus also carries emotional comfort, home, inner happiness, and psychological grounding. As 11th Lord, Venus carries gains, networks, ambitions, friendships, audience, and fulfillment of desires. When the 4th and 11th Lord goes into the 8th house, the emotional and social life becomes transformative. Comfort does not come through ordinary simplicity. Gains and friendships may come through deep, unusual, intense, hidden, technological, psychological, financial, or transformational spaces. Justin may be drawn to subjects that other people find too complex, too dark, too hidden, too futuristic, too taboo, or too emotionally loaded. Venus in Aquarius adds originality, networks, technology, systems, social intelligence, and unconventional tastes. Dhanishtha adds rhythm, music, leadership, resource management, public recognition, engineering, finance, organization, and group influence. So creatively, Justin is not only artistic in a soft Venusian way. His creativity may come through systems, music, rhythm, technology, strategy, financial thinking, design of networks, group leadership, or transformational ideas. The 8th house makes creativity deep and psychologically charged. He may like mystery, hidden knowledge, transformation, occult systems, psychology, intense storytelling, complex games, strategic media, or subjects where beauty and danger meet. This placement adds ENTP and ENTJ flavors, but because it is in the 8th house, it again feeds the deeper INTJ profile. It says, the creative mind is not shallow. It wants hidden architecture. Now let's refine the full MBTI ranking. The most dominant MBTI type is INTJ. Why? Because the strongest planets for personality diagnosis are pointing towards strategic introversion, pattern recognition, depth, research, controlled action, and future-oriented planning. Mars as 5th and 10th Lord in own sign Scorpio in the 5th house gives strategic intelligence. Mercury in Capricorn, Shravana gives structured listening and analysis. Moon in Vishakha gives goal-oriented emotional ambition. Venus in the 8th gives attraction to hidden systems and transformation. Justin's INTJ pattern will show as private thinking, selective social energy, deep focus, strong internal standards, sharp detection of weakness, dislike of superficiality, interest in mastery, need for autonomy, and a tendency to observe before acting. The second MBTI type is ENTJ. This shows when Justin is placed in a goal-driven environment. If there is a mission, competition, project, leadership need, or real-world challenge, the ENTJ side comes forward. Moon in Vishakha and Venus in Dhanishtha both carry leadership, achievement, influence, and organization. This can make him decisive, commanding, ambitious, and unwilling to tolerate incompetence. But ENTJ is not the root, it is the activated mode. The third MBTI type is INFJ. This comes from Pushya Ascendant, Anuradha Mars, and Shravana Mercury. Justin can read people deeply. He can sense loyalty, emotional patterns, hidden pain, and unspoken motives. He may become a powerful guide, counselor, analyst, or mentor when mature. But the INFJ softness is protected by Scorpio Mars and Capricorn Mercury. He may care deeply, but he will not expose care carelessly. The fourth MBTI type is INTP. The INTP pattern comes from Mercury in Shravana and the strong Enneagram 5 signature. He may enjoy systems, theories, technical frameworks, conceptual learning, and independent analysis. But INTP is not dominant because Mars is too strong and too career-linked. Justin is not only a thinker. He is a thinker who wants strategy, direction, and result. Now the Enneagram ranking. The dominant Enneagram is 5W6. This is the child or teenager who wants to understand before trusting. He may not always ask every question openly, but internally, he is mapping everything. He wants competence. He wants privacy. He wants mental control. He wants to know what is real, what is fake, who is safe, who is unreliable, and what the hidden rule of the system is. The wing is 6 because Anuradha and Shravana bring loyalty, caution, trust testing, alliance building, and the need for reliable structures. A pure 5W4 would be more emotionally aesthetic and self-expressive. Justin is more strategic, observant, and loyalty-oriented, so 5B6 is stronger. The second Enneagram type is 8. This is the protector, challenger, and defender. It comes through Vishakha, Scorpio Mars, Dhanishtha, and the 6th house Sun-Saturn pressure. Justin may not always appear openly aggressive, but he does not like being controlled. He does not like manipulation. He does not like weakness in systems. He does not like betrayal. When pushed too far, he can become sharp, forceful, silent, or intensely decisive. The third Enneagram type is 3. Dhanishtha and Vishakha both bring achievement, recognition, public success, and the desire to be effective. Justin wants competence to show results. He may not be purely image-driven, but he wants to be good at what he does. He wants to win in a meaningful way. He wants progress that can be seen, measured, or respected. The fourth Enneagram type is 6. This is the loyalist pattern, scanning for safety, testing reliability, staying alert to risk, and forming deep bonds with those who prove themselves. Type 6 is not dominant because the chart has too much independent Scorpio and INTJ structure, but it is the wing and support system behind the Type 5. So the final Enneagram formula is 5W6 with strong 8 and 3 overlays. Now, what does this mean in real life? It means Justin should not be managed like a purely emotional child, a purely social child, or a purely obedient child. He needs respect for his mind. He needs intelligent explanations. He needs privacy. He needs meaningful challenge. He needs trusted adults who don't manipulate, shame, or over-control him. If you try to force him without logic, he may withdraw or resist. If you speak to him with intelligence, consistency, and respect, he can become deeply loyal. If you give him shallow praise, he may not care. If you give him real mastery, he will grow. His learning style is strongest through deep subjects, research, strategy, technical systems, psychology, investigation, pattern recognition, history, hidden mechanisms, technology, finance, music, symbolic systems, and high-skill domains where intelligence becomes power. His hobbies may not be ordinary hobbies. He may enjoy music, rhythm, technology, coding, strategy games, mystery, psychology, astrology, research, martial arts, documentaries, complex stories, competitive activities, or anything that lets him explore depth and structure. Emotionally, he needs a calm base. The moon as first lord in the fourth house means emotional environment shapes identity. If the home or emotional atmosphere is chaotic, his whole system absorbs it. If the environment is stable, respectful, and purposeful, he becomes much stronger. Intellectually, he needs conversation but not interrogation. Mercury in the 7th wants dialogue. Mercury as 12th lord wants privacy. So ask, don't corner. Invite, don't expose. Let him speak when ready. He may process alone first and speak later. Creatively, he needs depth. Venus in the 8th does not want only decoration. It wants transformation. Give him access to music, systems, design, technology, research, finance, psychology, or symbolic arts. Let creativity become a doorway into self-understanding. In action, he needs a mission. Mars in Scorpio in the 5th house is too powerful to be left directionless. Without meaningful action, the energy can become frustration, secrecy, over-control, or emotional intensity. With a mission, it becomes brilliance. Give him goals, challenges, martial discipline, research projects, leadership opportunities, problem-solving tasks, and domains where he can master something difficult. This is the key for parents. Don't only ask what your child is good at. Ask what inner engine is running the child. Some children are relationship-led, some are achievement-led, some are freedom-led, some are beauty-led, some are service-led. Justin is mastery-led. He wants to understand, control, protect, improve, and strategically move through life. That is why Nakshatra becomes such a powerful diagnostic bridge. MBTI tells us the cognitive type, INTJ. Enneagram tells us the survival strategy, 5W6. But Nakshatra tells us the living texture, Vishakha ambition in the emotional body, Shravana listening in the intellect, Dhanishtha rhythm and network creativity in the value system, and Anuradha loyalty research and action intelligence. Put together, Justin is not just an INTJ. He is an INTJ with a protected emotional core, a strategic listening mind, a transformational creative field, and a powerful Scorpio action engine. If this energy is guided well, he can become a remarkable researcher, strategist, analyst, technologist, psychologist, counselor, investigator, leader, designer, financial thinker, occult student, systems builder, or transformational guide. If it is misunderstood, he may become withdrawn, guarded, suspicious, emotionally intense, resistant, or overly private. So the work is not to change the child. The work is to understand the child correctly. And this is where a deeper reading becomes valuable. Because when you know the child's moon, you understand the emotional body. When you know Mercury, you understand the learning mind. When you know Venus, you understand creativity, value, and attraction. When you know Mars, you understand action, confidence, and frustration. And when you connect these with Nakshatra, MBTI, and Enneagram, you are no longer guessing. You are reading the inner operating system. If you want a reading for your child or teenager, one that does not box them into a label, but helps you understand how their mind works, what motivates them, what overwhelms them, what gifts need direction, and what kind of guidance actually works for them, get in touch for a personalized MBTI, Enneagram, and Nakshatra-based personality reading. Because the right reading does not just describe your child, it helps you support them in a way that works for who they truly are.